Hello and welcome to Simulation. My name is Jan and today we're taking a look at mass transit for City Skylines, an expansion that just came out. Whatever, at the time of the recording it hasn't come out yet, but it should be out for you guys now. It is valued at 13 euros on the Steam Workshop, which I'm presuming is also means it's $13. You can get it from the Steam Workshop or you can get it from Paradox Plaza and you'll get a Steam key. What this expansion in itself features is new mass transit options. You can see some of them here, such as the Monorails that just passed by, the Blimp that is just landing, and the cable cars that just continuously run back and forth between the cable car destinations. What this expansion pack offers is these new mass transit options as well as ferries. And we'll take a look at those in a minute. Now, the most noticeable feature that I think will be one of the most used features is the monorails. They come on 4-lane roads, as you can see over here. Simple 4-lane roads with a monorail track in the middle. You can upgrade your existing 4-lane roads. There is an option for that, or you can lay new ones. The monorails also come on a 2-lane road as well as a standalone track. The blimps require a blimp stop, or rather 2 blimp stops to create a line, as well as a blimp depot, and that I will show you in a minute. The cable cars themselves do not require you to set up a line, but they do require you to build at least 2 stations that you connect with these, well, cable thingies. They connect in between 2 stations. I just have 2 simple terminal or end stations set up here connected, just so that I could give you guys a look. This one doesn't really do anything, it just goes back and forth. I've also increased the budget, so there's a few more cable cars going past as we go. There are also pass-through stations, which you can add in between the line, and it will automatically start operating as soon as you have 2 stations connected. The blimps, the monorails, and the ferries absolutely do require a for you to set up a special line, as otherwise it would be quite all over the place, especially the ferries and the blimps, as monorails can only run on a track you've built anyways. This second option now is the Tram Depot. We can see very clearly here on the left is the Tram Depot, on the right is a tram stop, or rather a ferry stop. I keep saying trams, I don't know, I keep thinking about trams because they're not added into any of the new buildings, don't have direct tram connections. But on the left here you can see the ferry depot, on the right here you can see, well, now on the left is the first of the ferry stops. The ferries then go onto a canal. 4 new canal options were added, the first one being the narrow deep canal, then the medium deep canal, and the wide deep canal. On the left here we see the ferry stop again, just where this ferry is stopping. Now it allows for 2 stops at the same time, so 2 ferries can stop at the same time, one on the left, one on the right, followed up by a simple ferry stop. Only one ferry can stop there at a time. You can, if you're doing canals, I would suggest adding one on each side so that the ferries can stop on the way there and on the way back. You could also do a circular line if your canal system allows it. Mine doesn't, because I just built this canal to quickly connect it, or to quickly show all the ferries. This isn't perfect. You can see the ferry stops well below the pier, but I didn't have time to terraform the entire map to allow it. This last ferry stop is a ferry and bus connection. Now, it's a very interesting connection in itself, because it makes sense. In many cities it would make sense that you take a ferry over to an island, then you catch a bus to wherever it is you are going. This one allows you to do that fairly simply. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stops for buses. I believe it's either 10 or 12, I'm not entirely sure. Which does seem like a rather large amount, and I do agree it is a rather large amount. I don't really understand why they did it in the way that they ended up doing it, but that's the way they did it, and we can't really complain. Or rather, we can. It does seem a bit excessive though, because as far as I'm aware, only one ferry can stop at the terminal at the same time. I should have really done a quick test to see if any other options are available. The ferries have a very different look than the ferry stops have a very different look than any other stops provided in the game, and as such, that is how it is. How you create ferry lines is very simple. You plop down the ferry stops in the ferry depot, then you go to the ferry line tool, or the ferry pathway as they call it, and simply connect up all the stops going whichever direction you want. You can create intricate lines, as you see over there on the top. There is I created a little corner type dealio to connect in here, just to kind of make it a little bit more interesting. You simply go to either, if you have a long line, you can plop out from the middle, but if you have short lines like I do, then you go to one of these circular sections on the corners and simply pull out a line. And that's it. The stations come with pre-built ferry pathways, and then you simply connect them. Once you've done that, you simply create a line like you would with any other, well, anything else, honestly, any other transport options. I would also note that the canals come with pre-built ferry pathways, at least the deep canals do, because why not? You don't see them if you're not in the kind of ferry screen, so it doesn't really matter. Moving on to the blimps. Here in the front we see a blimp stop, but that's where the blimp is parked at the moment. In the back we see a depot. The ferries and blimps do require depots, while the monorails do not. They simply spawn at the stations. You need to create a depot, otherwise your line won't run. You need at least 2 stops. You can have more than 2 blimp stops if you want. That are large buildings, so kind of placing them in the city might be tricky if you're going for a bit tricky if you're going for a certain aesthetic. Again, you need to use the blimp pathway this time. Connect the depot to the stops, and then connect the stops to each other. The same with the ferries. You need to connect the depot to the lines. Otherwise it doesn't work. You can just connect the depot to any part of the line, but I in here connected it to the stop and then simply connect them up. And after that you do continue on like with any other transport option. You connect it with the stops. You can see a blimp here in the back. The blimps do have a certain special policy for them. They're called educational blimps. They provide a little bit of an education boost to your city. You can enable or disable it. There's also a prefer ferries policy for people to prefer using ferries, and there is also a high ticket prices policy, which does increase your profits, but in the end decreases traffic usage. So is it, or transit usage, so is it worth it? Who knows? The last thing we're going to talk about is the monorails themselves. Over here we have a monorail station in the middle connected to several bus stops on each side. I am not exactly sure how many, so I'm going to check in a second. But this one comes with pre-built road through the middle, a 4-lane road, 2 lanes going one way, 2 lanes going the other way, and the station on top of it. You can plop it anywhere you want. Let's see, we've got, if I'm not mistaken here, if I can count, we have 10 possible bus options. A little bit excessive, maybe, but it is entirely possible to fill these out, as we've done in the past with kind of the bus terminals they added into the game itself. What do we kind of want to add to this? Well, there isn't really much to add to it. This doesn't come with a metro stop connected to it, and you can simply connect it up to the roads. Here we can see it goes from the stop to a 4-lane road with monorail and then a 2-lane road with monorail. Those are your only options for roads with monorails. There is no 4-lane, or is it a 4-lane? A 6-lane road with monorails. You can build them from the roads from the road menu, or you can build them from the monorail subsection of the transport menu. Here we also see we have options for freestanding monorail tracks as well as one-way monorail tracks. We're simply going to follow this monorail around for a little bit while we show off the rest of the stations. I thought it would be kind of a cool thing to do. I do apologize about the FPS in the corner, the FPS counter in the corner. Don't know why it's there. Possibly forgot to turn it off. But yeah, these monorails give a nice, sort of nice look to the city. The monorails are fairly quiet in themselves. The stations are a bit loud, but the tracks are quiet, so it should be fine. Here we see the second monorail stop, or the first monorail stop. Depends how you want to look at it. This one is a ploppable asset. You need to connect it to a road, or it needs to be touching a road. It snaps to roads, most like other ploppable buildings, except the ones that have roads built into them. Following on, you see that I built some freestanding road in between these two roads. Now, we've come to the interesting one, which is a monorail to train connection with a built-in metro line. So it has 4 monorail platforms, 2 one way, 2 the other way, and basically 4 train connections, 2 one way, 2 another way. Something you would. And they're pass-through stations, so we don't have a terminal station. This last one that we see over here is a monorail station over a 4-lane road. It comes pre-built with the road. You can either connect it to an end of a road, or you can plop it anywhere you like. Let's see, we have some commercial buildings growing over there. Simple monorail trains, interesting monorail trains. I do enjoy them. I think I'm going to end up using monorails a lot. It's sort of a above ground metro system that we had to use mods to do before. It does come, this station we're looking at now, which is the train to monorail connection, does come with a built-in metro station. Over here we can see it working a little bit better. I did put a cargo station in the back simply to service the city a little bit. But we see the train coming in and the monorail leaving. Passengers will automatically transfer from the stations. They won't go out, walk around and go back in. Do I like the design choice? Yes, I think it's an interesting design choice. It definitely works in this kind of city, which is a more modern type of city. I don't think it will work as well as in a European style city, which I know a lot of people like building. So we'll kind of have to rely on the workshop to provide us with more European style looking buildings. But all in all, I do like the design in a way. But we'll see how it comes up with. As I said, there is no 6-lane road with monorail tracks on it, which does bother me a little bit. The same as it does with trams, and those are both suggestions I made to the Colossal team while I was up at ParadoxCon. It is something that needs to be added. Over here we can see a simple road. What we're going to do is rename it. You can click on the name, rename the road to whatever you want. I did forget to hit enter afterwards. You need to, once you put in the name, hit enter, otherwise it doesn't save. So this just remained Robert Street. You can make the road a priority road or not a priority road. The way you do that is click the little priority checkbox, and all it does is makes that road a priority, so all the roads merging on it have stop signs put on them, or in some cases traffic lights. This is part of the free expansion. You can increase the length of the road. You can say, I want this road to be a little bit shorter, or I want this road to be longer. And, well, you can either create or remove traffic lights, and you can create and remove stop signals, which is very useful for roundabouts, especially. Should you buy this game? Should you buy this expansion? Well, if you like these transport options, then yes, definitely. In my personal opinion, I would have bought it immediately. Because I simply do like it. I did forget to mention the cable cars. The cable cars simply connect between 2 stations. You don't have to create lines. All you have to do is connect them up with the cables, basically, and that's it. We do have new chirper options as well. that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you again next time. Bye bye.